Hello, hello, and hello and hello. Well, I am not exactly sure, you know, what is going to take place here. Just thought I'd take a moment and get the cameras rolling and have a little bit of fun, hang out, and share some stuff. So I got a video by Joe Dispenza going. I got some music by Grandfather Dragonfly to share. I got some. I got a few of my books handy, and I might just pull a few little random readings out. So we got the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Um, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and I also got the Diamond Sutra and the Sutra of Huineng, translated by A.F. Price and Wong Mao Lam. And The Only Dance There Is by Ram Dass. All these are beautiful books. A few of the many amazing books that are out there and that are available, and something very enjoyable. So just kind of gonna go through that and just rap a little bit, not to literally rap, but not this time, I don't think. But just talk and see what comes out of it. It's just kind of a moment to sometimes dig inwards or look inwards, and it's hard to do. Sometimes it's much easier to kind of get into that space of just kind of letting things surface that wants to surface, that maybe needs to surface, maybe that would be helpful to surface. And maybe I'll achieve a little bit of that, maybe I won't. But either way, we will just do our best. So let's see. I'm going to kind of, last time I tried to do a stream, I thought it was all fancy dancy and had all my videos postmarked in tabs, and then I didn't get any of the volume from the videos because I guess it doesn't work like that. So I kind of got to do it a little bit more manually, which is all good. But I think I'll start with. So we got a Joe Dispenza video. He's being interviewed on YouTube with the podcast is called Diary of a CEO, and I'll kind of jump in and check out a little bit of his stuff and maybe jump back and look at other things. All right, and so let's see if we're sharing. Yep, we're on there. So yeah, that looks good like that. I'm fine with that. So let's let's get him going. See what Mr. Dispenza has to say.
A habit isn't a bad thing. They can work for you or they can work against you. The problem is if you're, as an example, complaining and blaming and making excuses and feeling sorry for yourself and judging other people, and you practice that and you get really good at whatever you practice that enough times that you're unconscious to the fact that you're doing it. The moment you become conscious that you want to change that, you're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel unfamiliar. It's going to feel degree of uncertainty. You're leaving kind of familiar known territory and you're stepping into the unknown. And so many people, when they want to change a habit, they have to be willing to be uncomfortable to do it. But habits can work for us. There's a lot of great habits that you and I both have that I would never want to change or would want to evolve in some way. But then there's a lot of habits that don't serve us. And so a person really wants to set a vision of the future, whatever that is, and they just have to agree that in order to arrive at that vision, they have to change in order to get there.
Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. And most likely, I think there's a lot of people who struggle with breaking habits in many different ways. And I think the most, I want to say the most obvious way is that we see this is someone who has an addiction to something like a drug or like an alcohol. I think these somehow resonate differently in our collective minds than, say, somebody who is addicted to maybe positive feedback or compliments, which is very similar to positive feedback, or somebody who is addicted to dominating other people, or somebody, and it doesn't have to be, it could be, positive, being, liking positive feedback is often a very good thing, right? Or some people could be addicted to abuse and sweets and many other things. So, he also, Mr. Joe Dispenza, also talks about, that pain that happens, that discomfort that happens when people try to break habits and create new ones. And what I have said to people, and what I still experience now, is there's a certain amount of humility that I've have had to kind of accept, swallow, um, because of the failure of trying to break habits or change habits, and then maybe doing well, and then falling back, and it kind of puts you down on your knees in a way. And so I think when he was saying, this pain and discomfort, I think it could be seen in many different ways. Um, I guess this is somewhat of an analogy that may or may not be helpful, but you know, you can have a mattress that you've been sleeping on for several years, and it's not, and your back is not being supported properly, and you're sleeping in a position that maybe, your spine is not aligned well. I'll try to cut that explanation too from being too long. And and you find out, wow, I have a mattress that has really been not doing me any good. What do I do? Okay, you go and you get a new mattress, and you lay on it, and you go, oh man, my back is hurting. I thought I was supposed to get better. I thought the pain was supposed to go away, but now I'm actually noticing the pain. And what is often the case, is because now you're you're being put in alignment, more or less, and it is sometimes discomforting. Sometimes, like a massage is uncomfortable, or a long run is uncomfortable, or I haven't done it, but taking an ice bath, I'm sure it is not necessarily done for its comfort. So these things are interesting. I really appreciate people like Joe Dispenza that are helping people on through these courses of action, uh, who are trying to better themselves. Um, and I think most people really, really want to have that peace. Like, I think that's the simplest way to put it. People want to have peace. And I think we all know that peace comes from an internal source. And sometimes, although we intuit that it comes from an internal source, we search for that peace um, out, through outward expression. And I think what Joe Dispenza and others are doing is they are helping people to kind of turn that energy inwards, so that we can really tackle the challenge at the source and make changes. And we can make changes because, just like developing a habit, we can deconstruct habits and replace them. And to me, it seems kind of hard. But I know there's people who are faster and much brighter than me that can make those changes in much faster, I believe. So let me, I'm going to find the next little piece of the Joe Dispenza video that I wanted to share with folks. And you know what? It's not going to be perfect with the timeline, but
the ancient Egyptians understood that they could use sound
but that's all good.
to reduce their weight and the gravitational effect.
Oh, Robert Gilmore commercial came
To
in,
feel
and I
uncomfortable
love it.
because you're stepping.
And so let me get back to sharing the screen. I don't know if you heard that background stuff or not, but that's all good. There we go. Let's give it a play.
From the known into the unknown. So some people would rather cling to their self-pity than take a chance and possibility. They'd rather tell the story of their past instead of telling the story of their future. They'd rather believe in their past instead of believe in their future.
Just kind of a quick pause here, because it reminded me of a Carlos Castaneda book, where in this book, and I don't want to go so deep into all the background, but we'll definitely talk about those books at one point. The learned man, the highly intelligent being who is helping develop another gentleman, is explaining to so Don Juan, he's the highly developed person, is explaining to Don Juan, who is the apprentice, that he needs to erase his personal history. And he, there's kind of a bit of an explanation for it, and I don't know if I feel like giving it all right now, but when we cling to our past, we kind of cling to these immature aspects of ourselves a lot of the time. And I think I'll let Joe Dispenza continue what he was saying, but to a certain degree, we need to really move on from that and stop. We don't You don't have to, but I think to me it's been helpful. Is you kind of slow down. You don't explain to everybody everything you've done and who did this to you and who did that, and when you were in high school and what an amazing athlete you were or whatever. Um, you just step out and into the now, and then it opens up the now. And of course, the now moves into what we're going to call the future, although it never really does because it's always now.
Future. It's so much more important, though, to romance your future instead of romance your past. And I think if people understood that they could actually arrive at it, I think many people have done this already in their life. I think everybody, at least once in their life, has done something great. And when they did something great, they just made up their mind. And they made a decision in that moment to do something or to change with such firm intention that the amplitude of energy in making that choice caused their body to respond to their mind. That the choice that they were making to change became a moment in time that they would never forget. And the stronger the emotion they felt in order to change, the more they remembered the choice. And we could say then that they're giving their body a taste of the future emotionally, and they're literally aligning to that destiny. We discovered that if you keep doing that every day, somehow you'll arrive at that destiny, and your biology will literally begin to change to look like you're living in a different life.
What are some of the biggest myths relating to?
So yeah, there's a lot right there, and I thought it was quite interesting. The idea of romancing the future. I feel like I kind of need to digest that idea a little bit more. I feel that I like the idea of using our imagination as a creative force. I also firmly like the idea of just letting that now completely saturate us, and so this is kind of what I think I would like to consider a lot. And it's interesting to listen to this gentleman who seems to have a really amazing track record, and I believe it. I have no reason not to believe that these achievements that he helped people make are true. Now, it's very interesting to think, and it's not by any means out of my realm of possibilities, that changing our thoughts will manifest in physical change. I think that's a very something to that we can meditate on a bit and kind of just strongly consider the what exactly that means. I think that's just it's deep, it's mind blowing, and totally cool. I'm gonna change speeds. I have 2 more parts of this interview to maybe show if we have time, but I'm going to share something personal and amazing, and potentially something that can be very emotional for my family. So this is a website that my father, and he is grandfather Dragonfly, and this is the website that he has created for my stepmother, who had passed. Probably, as you can see, if this is sharing right now. Let me actually change this so we have a larger screen there. That he has made for her. And he has created some beautiful songs, laments that I would, that I'm going to share. And in loving memory of Frances Elaine Williams Goyas, born August 21st, 1953. And she has moved on to do her amazing work and help to really uplift humanity from a higher realm now. And I know she is hard at work and helping a lot of people that need or spirits, if we want to call it that. But we are spirits here, and we'll be spirits there. But she's helping them to move to higher levels, and you can say to fulfill and put to rest some of the karma that we have accrued, and amazing, beautiful pictures. And you know what? Before I play some music, let me read what my father wrote. A most pleasant lady, Fran withstood 5+ years of chemo and radiation. She neither complained nor feared. She retained her always pleasant disposition. That being just who she is, she went into remission for a short time, beating her stage 4 breast cancer only but for a while. The cancer came back with a vengeance and metastasized to her brain. In her very last days, she would always mustered up a smile and a joke or two. I'll never ever forget that beautiful smile. I'll never forget her beautiful angelic countenance. That being just who she was. Fran succumbed to this disease on 9/6/2020, 9:44 a.m. I was bedside holding the hand of that most pleasant lady. Till we meet again, forever my love. So, something in me says that Fran didn't succumb to any disease. She didn't succumb to cancer. I believe that she had fulfilled a very meaningful mission, and she had to move on to fulfill a greater mission. I'm going to read this part too as well, because I don't know if I've seen this one quite yet, but I may have and just forgot. It's been 2 years and 9 months since Fran returned. I say returned because she was an undeserved gift and a blessing to me. I think angelic. Now she's returned to source. The gem has left a big empty hole. I'm only kept fairly sane by feeling her presence. As I drive, as I watch TV, sitting in the background watching the blue scrub who became my friend, and the house finches, oh yeah, the cats, her feral friends. I love this quote. Don't know who the author is. When someone you love dies, it changes your life forever. It is not something you get over. The loss now becomes a part of who you are. I was happy for 38 plus years, from couplehood to marriage, and I have beautiful memories to carry me through. Thanks, Fran. I am left forever grateful forever. I still wear my wedding ring. Death has not severed my band with Fran, so her presence and memories are what helps me navigate this new chapter. And yeah, I still talk to her all day long. Just a quick comment. So, Dad, you might be the only one who watches this, so guess what? You can't really be touched by an angel and left with a hole in your heart, right? The angel comes because you have a hole in your heart. The angel comes to fill it with something, to fill it with love. And that's what it appears has happened. The hole, the emptiness, the challenge to open your heart, was it was satisfied, and you were given the gift of love. So, to me, it's the opposite of what you're writing here. That's just my loving opinion. And you know I have a lot of opinions, but, it's all magical. So, let me play Lament 1. My dad wrote many laments for Fran, and he has them here, and I want to play them. I'm going to sit back and enjoy. I better turn off this funky little background music I have, though. Wow. That was what a beautiful song. I hope that it came through somewhat clear. And I'm just listening to it through my laptop, and God, it is gorgeous and such a beautiful representation of Grandfather Dragonfly's love for his wife, and a celebration of their love, and a grieving, for a grieving for a reunion. I'm going to get straight to it and play the next song, Lament 2. How'd you like that? Yeah, I think sure wish I could play cool music like that. Oh yeah. Um, so you know what? Let's go with Lament 3. Hey, I'm kind of wow, look at that cool guitar. Just want to scroll down and see. Oh, because my dad has some other shorts. This is some of my stepmother's artwork. My dad named his guitar brand Francis, which is cool. All right, so let me play lament number 3. There are a lot more laments from Grandfather Dragonfly, and I believe that they're still needing to be recorded. So that's a heck of a process. But yeah, let me play number 3. Well, thank you, Grandfather Dragonfly, for sharing this webpage with us, making this webpage, sharing your laments, sharing your words and your kind memorial and your love, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. My stepmother is a beautiful and amazing person. She is an extremely evolved human, and I think she really set quite an example for us. She set the bar maybe a little too high for being kind and being graceful and being loving, and bringing her care and kindness and I guess really just bringing her. She loved her family so much, and she would do so much for us. And I remember it, just always made me feel so loved and so cared about. And she really makes me want to strive to be, a better person and evolve step by step as I can, as I'm willing to, I guess too. That's part of it, right? Um, yeah. So maybe my dad will get on here and we could chat more um, about just how evolved Fran was and is. So I'm going to jump back to the Joe Dispenza videos and have just a few tidbit more to kind of share, or that I would like to share. Let's go. Let's see. Let's start from right about there. Okay, so yep, that's cool. All right, let's press play.
Feelings and thoughts. Yeah.
By creating, what do you mean? Creating is in
Well, if
being
you
intentional.
if you woke up every morning and you truly made time to think like this, okay, if my personality creates my personal reality, and my personality is made of how I think, how I act, and how I feel, if I want to create a new personal reality, a new life, I'm going to have to change my personality. And most people try to create a new reality, a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. We literally have to become someone else. So if you said, okay, let me not default and go unconscious to that 95% of who I am that's programmed. Let me become so conscious of the way I think. Let me become so aware of how I'm going to act today. Let me decide what emotions keep me connected to my past and bring me to a lower level of energy. Let me not go unconscious. And then if you said, okay, if a belief is just a thought I keep thinking over and over again, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain?
So wow, that is a lot right there. What I have had some experience with is I want to say through meditation. It has sometimes allowed me to be a little bit more of an observer observer of myself, and at times it has gave me a little bit of space to do what Mr. Joe Dispenza is saying sometimes, and bypassing that sequencing that we have, or that programming that we have developed over time, right? Like he was talking in one of the earlier clips, is we get really, really good at what we practice. And sometimes what we practice is frankly kind of kind of silly. And I'm speaking for myself here. And but if you want to, evolve past some of those very silly, immature sequences that we have, I have found that one way of being more of an observer is through meditation. Um, and I've was able to a few times now catch myself wanting to kind of sink into this lower, silly me, the victim, right? A lot of the times. Um, and it's really nice to kind of skip that nonsense. And so that's a pleasantry. Let me just jump to the last bit that I have, at least for now. This, as you can see, it's a long video, and I'm only giving some tidbits of really just the first half. Dun, dun, dun. Let's start right about there.
Your part. Have you ever been frustrated that change hasn't happened in someone that you loved?
God, I think it's such a noble act to change, and I understand how hard it is to change.
It's hard.
I understand that process. So I think the greatest thing that I could ever do for someone is to show them what change looks like. It's so much more profound than anything that I could ever say. And I would never offer my opinion to them. I would love them unconditionally because I maybe see a part of myself that I've changed, and I understand how hard it is to change, or I understand that they're going to have their moment, when they're ready to change. And so I think it's really interesting, because what I've learned over the years is that no new information can enter the nervous system that's not equal to the person's emotional state. You can give them the answer, the right answer to the problem, and they won't hear it because it's not relevant equal to the emotion that they're experiencing. What we've learned is that if you take people in, let's just say 7 days, just cross the river of change, go from the old self to the new self, immerse yourself fully into it, break free from the chains of those emotions that keep you anchored to the past.
So I'm going to kind of leave it at that. That's a lot for someone to think about if they want to consider doing some self work, doing some challenging yourself to evolve, to see sometimes into that dark and shady places of our forest within, and see it for what it is, and what it is in the now, and to kind of work a little bit to hey. What's that?
What is this live?
Yeah, it is
On what?
on YouTube.
That's cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. So
What time is it?
it's 11:04 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, it's getting late.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's all good. Okay, so and I also really liked what he said about in sales it's called showing, not telling. You could show what something does, and it's going to resonate with someone who may need this product or whatever it is or service much more than somebody just telling. If you're looking for a mattress, your body's going to give you more information than the salesperson can give you, right? Of course, somebody could supplement it, but your body's going to give you some very clear biofeedback. Also, just kind of mentioning back with the Carlos Castaneda books and the Don Juan, he says something kind of similar about, somebody could tell you something that's very elucidating, that's very wise, right? And if we don't have enough acute energy, it's not going to be understood. And if it is somewhat understood, it may not be able to be applied. And so for, someone to start evolving, start maturing, start growing up, we're each responsible for creating that place, the space to evolve. And so whether you have a guru or no guru, you have to do the inner work. You have to create that refined energetic field so that you can move forward, so to speak. So yeah, some cool stuff like that. So let me just do a few bits and pieces of some reading, and I'm going to try to be as random as possible. This is, as you see there on the screen, The Only Dance There Is by Ram Dass. If I need to repair a car, I can damn well figure out how to repair cars. And there's nothing that makes me learn how to repair a car faster than when my car is broken. I'll tell you, I could study theories of carburation until hell freezes over and it would pass through me like Chinese food. But when I need to fix a carburetor, I read that manual and boy, it really has relevance because I want to know how to fix the carburetor. And there is something about functional knowledge. When the kid has an itch, then he scratches it, and until then, it's only fun and games in our head. And the whole history of knowledge is a drop in the bucket compared with wisdom. We're trying to preserve something, and what we're doing is preserving at the cost of something much higher. That is what we really want. We would like to train for wisdom, not knowledge. And what we're training for is knowledge because we can measure it. But knowledge is not convertible necessarily into human happiness or well being. Wisdom is because wisdom is learning how to live with the Tao, to live in harmony with the world at the moment it is. Wisdom is a totally adapting thing, but knowledge isn't. Knowledge is not necessarily adaptive. But if you're a wise being, whatever is. You deal with what is. You teach a child methods of how to be conscious, how to use the tool of his mind as an exquisite analytic device. You teach methods of absorbing knowledge. You don't teach knowledge per se. That's one of the major things. And I think we're moving forward that in elementary education anyway, I think we start to respect each human being's method of evolving, and we allow for much wider degrees of freedom in terms of each person's journey. We present him with models of consciousness, not models of external achievement. Thank you, Ramdas. So I think a lot of that random reading had some continuity with what we were talking about not too long ago. All right, so now Bhagavad Gita as it is. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Let's see what I got here. This is interesting because I guess this book kind of goes through verses of the Bhagavad Gita, and then the author comments on it. So it's a lot of commenting, but I'm going to kind of skip the commenting and just read some pieces of the Bhagavad Gita. And so I believe this is chapter 23 or verse 23. I should know that, but I don't. So it has a 23 and it says, the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. It's kind of hard to wrap our heads around, I think, a lot of the time, because it's a huge part of our culture to grieve for the body. All right, let me jump to the Diamond Sutra. Now, this book is one of those books where let me try to find a relatively short one, but it's something you really got to kind of sit with and meditate. So, oh, something just happened. So let's try this. The superiority of formulated truth. And I guess this is chapter 11. Subhuti, if there were as many Ganges rivers as the sand grains of the Ganges, would the sand grains of them all be many? Subhuti said, many indeed, world-honored one. Even the Ganges rivers would be innumerable. How much more so would be their sand grains? Subhuti, I will declare a truth to you. If a good man or good woman filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures for each sand grain in all those Ganges rivers, and gave all away in gifts of alms, would he gain great merit? Subhuti answered, great indeed, world-honored one. But then Buddha declared, nevertheless, Subhuti, if a good man or good woman studies this discourse only so far as to receive and retain 4 lines and teaches and explains them to others, the consequent merit would be far greater. Okay, so let's see if I could find one. Another short one, maybe. Okay, let's try this one. Chapter 19. Absolute reality is the only foundation. Subhuti, what do you think? If anyone filled 3,000 galaxies of worlds with the 7 treasures and gave all away in gifts of alms, would he gain great merit? Oh, this is kind of like the last one. Yes, indeed, world-honored one. He would gain great merit. Subhuti, if such merit was real, the Tathagata would not have declared it to be great. But because it is without a foundation, the Tathagata characterized it as great. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's some that's some mind changing reading right there. So I'm just going to read that last part again. Subhuti, if such merit was real, the Tathagata would not have declared it to be great. But because it is without a foundation, the Tathagata characterized it as great. Because it is without a foundation, it is characterized as great. Well, turn that up a little bit. Who knows what weird sounds are going on, but that's kind of where it's going to be left today. Went on a little bit longer than expected, but it was fun. I appreciated the self-conversation and I enjoy the possibility of sharing it and seeing what in the world. Um, yeah, who knows? I have no clue. There's really nothing in my mind that says people are going to enjoy this. I just don't. It's not what. It's not why I'm doing this. I don't assume it's really going to be helpful to anybody, and I'm totally cool with that. And I find it helpful for myself, just kind of having an open conversation where there's no limitations. I can express what I want to express, and I can kind of go back and see, what was, you can only see so much, but, kind of get that process of filtering through some of this information and filtering through some of this process and getting a bit of a gauge on, you know, different aspects of my own personality and and really kind of finding what's coming to me. I guess that's a big part too. And yeah, so I'll be back again and again and again and again. And I don't know, maybe you'll join me. If anybody, I mean anybody, you don't have to know me. You don't have to have a rehearsed life story. You don't have to be into anything that I'm into. If you want to have a chat, human to human chat, I'm all for it. And I'm going to try to get fancy and fade out of here and close the live stream kind of at the same time. So let's see how that goes. And hope you kind of just enjoy yourself, dream, breathe, meditate, love your family, love your world, connect with people.